you there? There he is.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Hiya. Good to see you. Of course, we have Jeff Zananiri, we have Lancy Polito, and we were going to have Roger Scott with us today, but he has no internet in case you're just joining us. So Garrett generously stepped in from the other side of Florida.
That's right.
He has interwebs. So thank you all for joining us today. So shall we get started? The S&P continues to drop lower. Of course, recession fears ramping up. Wells Fargo reported the S&P 500 has peaked ahead of recessions with an average lead time of 4 months over the past few business cycles. Taken together with the inverted yield curve, markets are clearly braced for a recession in 2023. Think that's accurate, Garrett?
No, I don't. I don't think that we've priced in a recession far enough, but I will say that again, what has happened in the last week has been a big narrative shift. So we talked about this last time that I was here and Roger was here. So no monkey business. The key thing here is, the idea that look, we went to 4,300. We hit the 200-day moving average in August. We peeled back. We hit 35. Markets travel in channels. We went up to 4,100. Markets sold off. We saw this narrative shift from the Fed is taming inflation to recession concerns. And it happened in about a 5-day period. It came fast and furious. And what happens when you look at those technical channels, you see these sell-offs, they start to become self-fulfilling prophecies. So you're watching people kind of follow other people lower. We bounced down to that 392 level on the SPY. Now we're hitting that 395 level. Momentum went negative on Monday. I'm looking for a further sell-off tomorrow as we continue to start to price in what I expect will be relatively mild, not mild, I would say medium recession for through the end of next year.
Hey, Roger.
Hello.
Whoa.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Sorry, you don't know what I've been through the last half hour to get on here, but here we are.
Oh, well, we had Garrett fill in for you for the last minute, but this is great because now we have everybody. So Jeff, how about you? What do you think? What do you think about recession was 2023? Do you agree with Garrett? His assessment?
100%. What's up, Garrett? Nice to see you. It's been a minute. Yeah, no doubt, no question. I mean, when you have the biggest bank CEOs in the world, you had Jamie Dimon, you had Solomon from Goldman, you had Moynihan from Bank of America yesterday, which tanked the market when he came out and said that he sees loan activity down 30 to 40% across the board. He sees investment banking activity down 50% next year. Those are massive downgrades in a key component of the economy. Like finance is truly the lifeblood and the heartbeat of the US economy. It's actually precedes technology as our number one import to the world. And when they start saying things are going to get bad, and it's just the beginning of it, usually things get bad. And so if you remember back to, I always talk about these previous old man experiences like the 08 recession, 07, 08, the market was still making new highs while we were entering a recession. So no, we're not pricing in a recession yet. What we've only done this year, and it's been a bad year, is rolled back some of the insanity in the bubble areas of the market. But I think there's going to be some more pain, sadly, longer term.
What do you think, Raj?
Well, I kind of came in here a little late, but I kind of get the gist of what you guys are talking about. And basically, we just got news on Sunday that manufacturing orders are down 40% from China, more layoffs. Things are not looking pretty. But this is not a surprise at all. Matter of fact, I've been talking about this last couple of weeks, momentum levels. Matter of fact, I think Garrett and I were talking about this exact same thing last week on this show, how we were expecting a sell-off pressure, and I think we're going to see more downside. And I'll tell you what I'm seeing right now, Laura, and I'm actually being very conservative. I'm not trying to time this thing, but everything seems to be pointing to somewhere around the second to third quarter of next year in terms of upside. Jeff mentioned Jamie Dimon. He actually said, "I'm not seeing anything good for the next couple of quarters," or something to that effect. I don't want to misquote him, but most analysts, most conservative earnings guys, most fundamental guys, everybody's talking about earnings revisions, fundamental changes, Fed inflationary policy lasting till summer, till maybe summer, maybe even fall of next year. And I think we just have to be prepared for that. I think the only question is, are we going to get any more negative news that supersedes what's already known? And as Jeff likes to say, it's a fluid situation. We just don't know. We just don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of months. But things are not looking pretty right now. Nothing is looking great. And that rally that we have from the Fed, it was kind of like what I said in my morning video today. The doctor comes in and says, "Hey, I got bad news and good news." You're like, "Okay, well, what's the bad news?" "Well, we're gonna cut one of your legs off." "Well, what's the good news?" "Well, I'm only gonna cut one instead of two. Let's get excited." I mean, that's kind of like what people are getting excited about right now. They're getting excited about the Fed raising rates double what they usually do instead of triple. That's not a party time, okay? So I'm still very much in the camp where we were a few months back, and I don't think we've seen anything positive. And I'm only seeing confirmation of what we've all been talking about for the last several months.
Lance, is there anything you want to add? I'll take that as a no.
I'm too busy. I got too many trades on. I can't. Sorry.
He's busy. He's working. He's trading. So China, let's go back to China. You're talking about the manufacturing orders down 40%. Apple accelerated a plan to move some of its production to India in light of the COVID policies, which of course they're now reducing, trying to, I guess, retain some of this. But also, when you add to that, its share of global exports and things like footwear and clothing has been falling since 2016, while the trade between the US and the EU has been rising. Mexico and Vietnam are benefiting as well. Are we seeing the beginning of a massive shift here? What do you guys think? Away from China. Jeff, do you want to talk about that?
I mean, they drove everybody away. They destroyed any 17 years worth of international investment goodwill. They destroyed in the last 3 years. We've had a relief rally from bombed out levels in Chinese stocks because they stopped welding people shut into their burning apartments. But that's not a secular shift in the point of view of what's happening in China. There's a bipartisan, this isn't a political thing, there's a bipartisan understanding that we need to reduce exposure to Chinese manufacturing dependency. We need to reduce exposure to Chinese inputs in technology. And I don't think that that's something that's going to reverse course once it started going, which it has been going anytime soon. So to answer your question succinctly, Laura, yeah, it's a major shift. It's just getting started. It's going to go a lot farther than people think. And just a little bit of a dead cat bounce in Chinese stocks shouldn't give you a head fake on anything otherwise.
Do you agree, Lance?
Yeah, I actually, it's good to see Apple, saying they're moving, some of the to the US. I don't know if it's more of a political thing or not, but from a trading point of view, if I could grab the screen, we talked about China ADRs last week, and I know I gave a lot of the auto names out there. I actually took some positions on, and then I took them off literally days later. I mean, some of these China stocks, yes, the market has been absolutely horrendous, but some of the China ADR names have moved incredible for some fantastic trades. This is RLX. The stock was up 15% the other day. Huge move. LI Auto, Li Auto. Look at these moves off the low, 15 to 24. PDD, the PayPal of China, not to reference Lumpkin Coffee, the Starbucks of China. Huge move there. I mean, they've just presented Billy. Look at this move, firing another long today with some weekly calls being bought. Stock has doubled in literally like a month. Say what you want about China not being investable. I wouldn't put, retirement money into it, but from trading, geez, these names, I mean, look at Billy up almost 6% today when the market's, flat. They have created fantastic short squeezes. And volume has just surged in them after being dead because of all the, obviously all the COVID restrictions on and off. And even the casinos, you want to talk about China casinos, Macau, Melco continues to move. I know Jeff's in Win, which has just been a huge winner. Get it? Winner. Just incredible. Some of the Chinese names.
Roger, is there anything you want to add to this conversation about China?
I gotta say, I think a lot of, first of all, we truly don't really know what's happening over there. And as to Jeff's point, they've done an amazing job of alienating us and not being our friends. But I'll also tell you something interesting. I don't know how much of that rhetoric of us versus China is really true, or how much of it is made up in the media, because I've talked to a lot of guys, and it's not, while their beliefs are their beliefs, it's not so much China versus America. It's just kind of they're doing their own thing, and it's how it's impacting us indirectly. So I don't think there's as much personal issues between us as I think they're kind of competing against themselves and the rest of the world. I don't think it's directed towards America. With that said, I think that they are not a pro-business country. They are a governmental entity. They're, it's communism, really.
Communist China.
Yeah, exactly. So right. I mean, it just is what it is. So you're never going to get the financial impact, or their financial capacity is always going to be impacted. The government's always going to be a wet blanket, and we're seeing that now more than ever. So I think this whole COVID situation in China is hitting us really hard, but I think it's a two-way street. I think China is weakened right now, but also the manufacturing orders and all these other things that are coming through to China are weakening as well. So I think we have to kind of look at everything together. I think what's happening is, because the rest of the world is vulnerable, it's bringing out more vulnerabilities out of China's economy. So we're able to see more cracks, if you will. I think if things were a lot more stable, we would not be seeing, or it would take a couple of more years to see these cracks in the foundation. But because the economy is so strained, we are seeing more of them right now, or they're more evident right now, if you will. I'm not happy about China. I don't think anything's good's going to happen with them. Still very bearish Chinese stocks. And if it's not going to be COVID, they're going to find something else to be unhappy about. And I think it's really what it is. Garrett, you kind of had the puzzling look on your face as I was saying this.
Oh, no. I'm watching The Spy right now. I'm watching it break through that second standard deviation. And I'm wondering what that move is. It was a pretty interesting move a second ago.
Gotcha.
Do you have anything you want to add about China, Garrett?
What bar did I walk into? All of a sudden, we're talking about geopolitical risk in Vietnam and Mexico, and I mean that. I'm glad I had my second cup of coffee. This absolutely is political, and a couple of things you got to go back to in September. The Senate Intelligence Committee, Marco Rubio and Michael McCall at the House Foreign Affairs Committee called on China and said you better stop producing from the semiconductor manufacturers in China for your new iPhone 14. So that has kind of snowballed over the last couple of months. And I think this is strategic. Look, again, there is this onshoring movement. It is going to be, it's a long-term trade. It's a long-term trend. So you're looking at companies like Micron. You're looking at companies like ASML. You're looking at AMKR, which is Amkor Technology. These are all really long-term trades. You've got all these companies that are going to be onshoring here in the United States, or there's going to be movement in the semiconductor space over into Europe, and that'll be beneficial. But again, I don't think that the election was a game changer, but I do believe that companies like Apple are going to be under more scrutiny, not just because of their relationship with China. And trust me, the Republicans are going to bang the door for 2 years around U.S. businesses in China. The other component of this, which I think is important, is just the big tech angle, which has been pushed by the FTC for the better part of a couple of years. Lena Khan is really pushing on those big companies, Amazon, Apple. You're probably going to see more hearings around that in the next 2 years. And I obviously just think that, overall, the last thing that Apple wants, last thing Tim Cook wants, is to be spending time in Washington when we're heading into a recession, and the company wants to focus on how do they create value for their investors in the next 2 years. They don't want to be spending their time answering questions around supply chains in China. And now
Let's move on.
There you go.
Yes. Let's move on to momentum turning negative.
Yep.
Is it time for tax loss harvesting right now? Or should we be selling losers and looking to buy companies on the cheap? Should we wait on that? What do you think? Garrett, you want to start us?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I think is important about 2022 is that I have not been a long-term trader this year, because we have kind of that momentum switch, the momentum situation that we had similar to late 2018, the events that transpired back in 2020, kind of getting away from that 13 years of the Federal Reserve just pumping money into the system and everything goes up. I've effectively been liquid since January. So I don't really have anything that is really long-term that I would necessarily want to sell for the purposes of tax harvesting. With that in mind, you know, a lot of the focus over the last 2 weeks, even though momentum goes negative and we've seen this sell-off, a lot of the focus was on the buying of banks and energy stocks heading into this year. That's where a lot of insider buying has been. That's where the expectations were for rotation. And we're going to talk about this momentarily. Banks just had their worst sell-off since the sell-offs of April, June, and August, kind of a similar pattern. And the other element is that the energy markets are completely under pressure because the CTAs and the hedge funds went away last week. Nobody is buying oil right now. So the idea here that I'm going to step in, I'm probably going to buy some oil stocks right now, but the reality is I don't have anything right now to tax harvest. I'm not going to be harvesting my retirement funds. I've been actively trading all year for really the first time since 2009.
Jeff, what do you want to add to that?
It's not a matter of what you want to sell or not sell. It's a matter of what the biggest funds on the planet are going to sell, and what they have to do to clean up their books and to show that they're in the right names. And just because of that's just how business is done. When you have bear years like this, you have pronounced effect in December, you have pronounced effect in January, and people always look at it like, oh, we're going to have this this bullshit bumper sticker Santa Claus rally slogan. But the reality is the bad gets worse, right? The worst stocks get smashed even more. And what's been a little bit surprising to me is the few places that Garrett mentioned, where people where hedge fund hotels were finding refuge, are getting hit too, like these oil names, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I expect towards the end of the year, some of these XLE names to get bid up so that people can mark up their winners. So that there's going to be, like Garrett said, all these hedge funds went away. Volume is bad. Liquidity is terrible. It makes market, putting lipstick on a pig much easier to do. You can manipulate prices a lot easier if you're a big fund when there's no size out there. And that's going to also be pronounced in the losers. I have a link trade where we shorted Lucid, which is a stock that people like to trade and they like to be cute about and try to pick the bottom about. I bought puts. I bought puts in Lucid a few weeks ago, and the stock was already making lows. And that's a momentum bearish trade. Now, I don't like to invest on the short side, but these guys could be a zero. This company could be a zero. Like, they have no tangible business being a business if you understand accounting, if you understand the viability of what a company needs to do to be a business. So I'm looking for situations like that. I think there's going to be more pounding in 2023 of insolvent businesses. I'm looking at the potential for a credit crisis in the first quarter of 2023. And I don't think that interest rates have made a top, because I don't think that we're done completely with the inflation game.
Lance, is there anything you want to add to that?
I called Lucid as a fraud. It was a Tesla killer about a year ago. And I'm happy to see some of these companies that were frauds burned to the ground, especially in the EV space. So good trade, Jeff.
Roger, how about you? Do you want to add something to that?
No, I think you guys have done a great job covering that. I remember actually when Lance was pretty vocal about Lucid being a fraud. Funny enough, I actually remember that pretty well. Because you were very strong. You had a strong opinion of that, and I do remember that.
$140,000 for a Tesla killer EV. That one, Fisker, Workhorse, Moto, you name the BS EVs out there. They are seeing their day in doomsday right now, and I love it.
I think the big market, the Fords, the Chryslers, I think they're going to really create a big problem for a lot of these little cars in the EV space. Because, I mean, from what I'm understanding, 2027 in California, they're not going to allow regular. I mean, we're not talking about 100 years from now. We're talking just a couple of years from now. So
they already banned combustional engines for lawnmowers and stuff. Apple actually
Really?
just delayed their
Yeah.
car, Rochelle in the chat. So that was
Huh.
kind of a big news yesterday. Their self-driving. But that it is when there was a lot of free money, obviously these companies popped up. But when you have, an average sedan that's just electric being over 6 figures, people can't afford that.
Right.
Even the price of Teslas are going up. And Elon Musk doesn't want them to, apparently he said, but just the costs. And even Ford's having a lot of problems with their Ford Lightning truck right now during the cold. Basically, time is cut in half of, they're saying they get 200 miles per charge. Now that time's cut in half because the cold out there. And
When you're in the heater, the heater
Yeah.
depletes the electric cars. I know that for a fact.
Exactly.
They also just they want to ban they want to have a profit cap on the refineries as well. That was announced yesterday. That will just drive the refineries out of the state. So they just won't have any fuel. So I don't know what you would invest in for that trend, but maybe just chairs because nobody's going anywhere.
Like California puts.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom puts. Oh wait, he'll probably run for president.
There you go.
Could be. Well, Lance,
Probably
let's
will.
talk about, well, quick thing before we go on to Lance, I did want to ask you about some options flows, but what do you think about the Fed and the rate raise now? You still think 0.5%? Anybody have an opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's locked in at 50 next week.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you want to pay attention to after the 2:00 announcement at 2:30 when Powell speaks, there's 25% a bet on this table still for a 75-point hike. That's got to go away. That short covering is going to have to be covered at the end of that day. So don't be shocked if you get a 50-point move and then you see the SPY rally at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was 22 something. It was 22 point something percent this morning. As he's exactly right. I was talking about it this morning, and I think before the announcement, and if the market drops, I think before the announcement, I think it's going to move more to like 70-30. I think we're going to head to 70-30, and then we'll see how it backs away. But that's something I look at like religiously every morning. And Garrett's absolutely right. It was like right around 22% this morning. It'll be very interesting to see, but I think that number's not going down. I think that number is only going to increase.
You agree, Jeff?
Yeah, it's going to be 50, but the big thing is going to be forward guidance. They're going to do 50, then they're going to do 50, and they're going to keep it open to doing more. I mean, everybody's really focused on the terminal rate. Are they going to stop soon? Because you've been indicated, people went ballistic, and you had like a massive squeeze and short covering in the dog shit stocks, which was a very big counter trend move, which wasn't a healthy thing. And you have all the talking numbnuts on TV saying, "Are we in a new bull market?" And then lo and behold, December starts, and they get, the pain train comes right back through town. Big shock there. But the thing is, the Fed has kept us hostage to data. The jobs numbers are still incredibly strong. Our average hourly earnings is still incredibly inflationary, and they don't know what to do about it because they've been talking out of both sides of the mouth. They've been saying, on one hand, we have a dual mandate, but on the other hand, we'd like to see a little bit of that wage pressure recede, which they haven't seen any efficacy in that at all. So I think that the Fed, if they're being, true to what they've been saying, are going to keep us hostage even longer. I think that to trade Fed Day next week will be absolutely suicidal. You're going to have 200, 300 basis point whips in indices back and forth, I think multiple times that afternoon. Let it settle down and see what happens. That's just my advice. I think if you like trading on like a 3-minute interval, maybe it'll work, but I think it's just going to be wicked dangerous. You're better off betting World Cup quarterfinals and things like that.
And Laura, let me just give you my 5 cents on this because I think this is actually important. If you guys all want, not you guys up here, you guys all know this, but people at home, if you want a really good indicator of when the Fed will stop, keep your eye on the 2-year Treasury. And keep your eye on the 2-year Treasury when Powell is talking. If you remember, maybe you don't remember, but when Powell was lowering rates, the last 2 times he lowered rates, the last time he did it didn't even have an impact on the bond market. The last 3 times he lowered rates, it had less and less of an impact. It was like the first time it was like it went against us for 3 days, then it was for 2 days, and the last time it didn't even impact. Keep your eye on the 2-year, and when you start seeing the 2-year start moving lower, even though Powell's talking up, that's when it's going to be over. And we're not even close to being there, not even close. And by the way, I'm not the only guy who thinks that. When they were asking Paul Tudor Jones, what do you think? He said exactly the same thing. Keep your eye on the 2-year note. And when you start seeing divergence, that's it right there. David, if you want something easier than the 2-year, use the ticker symbol SHM. I think it's SHM. It's a 2-year ETF. SHM, I think it is. Don't quote me on that. I'm used to writing it out, but it's a 2-year. It's an ETF that covers the 2-year. Send me an email, guys. I'll send you the ticker symbol for it, or I'll look it up right now while everybody's talking, and I'll give it to you in a minute. I'll post it in the chat. I think it's SM. No, it's not SMH. It's God, what is it? I'll find it in a minute and I'll post it in the chat.
Thank you. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Lance, do you have anything to add to that?
I just put on a new trade, short energy.
Are you going to
I don't like
trade
any
after
of
the
the
Fed
energy
news?
names. I've been
No?
just extremely, very bearish on them. But I do have something to add, Laura, if I could grab the screen.
Of course.
Guys, I gotta bounce. I gotta go to a doctor. Believe it or
Right.
not. I'm not. I'm still a human.
Good
so
luck.
take it easy,
Good
guys.
luck, Jeff.
Good luck.
I love you.
Yeah. All right, let me grab the screen here. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I put a lot of trades on today. The market is moving, so I've been day trading a lot too, as you guys have know. Okay, let's grab the screen here. Thank you for having me on today. Thank you. I even wore a nice shirt for you, for everyone in the crowd. Thank you. By the
We
way,
appreciate that.
Spoiler alert. I'll be trading live Friday at 3 p.m. So if you're part of Wiretap, you'll get the email, text, and all that. If you're not, here's an opportunity to join. So the real magic happens on Friday, unless you're day trading Blitz, which we've been crushing this week with PayPal, Netflix. The reason I say it is quite simple. Over the course of 2022, some of the best trades have came Friday through Monday morning. 50% on DraftKings, 111% on plug puts, 226% on Peloton calls. Although I did lose money in Peloton this week, not going to lie. My current traders call these weekend trades. Each Friday afternoon, we target a trade at 3 p.m. Eastern time and look to sell it Monday the following week. So as strange as it may sound, it's all thanks to a strange Wall Street transaction that appears each Friday afternoon that I call a wire. Sometimes it happens before a big news release and gets us ahead of some of the big weekend news stories. For example, Peloton was $339,000. Trader bought these short-dated call options. So we put the trade. Trade alert looks like this. And then Monday, Amazon, Nike had some buyout rumors of it. So the stock opened up around $6. The calls opened up around 226%. Not all alerts will be a winner. Like I said, I actually lost money in Peloton this week. And actually, this week has been rough. That's why I'm trading live Friday. So some can be higher, some lower. But this Friday, 3 wiretaps will go out. And if you're excited, I am. You should be. Rado says it's always exciting to start the week with a gain at the opening bell, which never happened before I joined the Wiretap program. John wrote cha-ching, 203% on Peloton. Michael wrote Mondays are fun again. Every day is fun. Paul wrote up 216% on Peloton. Nancy says amazing program. Didn't think these type of trades were possible. Lance proved me wrong. Gary says, my God, man, get in. Thank you, Gary. So I'd love to send you all the details this Friday and trade live with me. It's all thanks to the Wiretap trade alerts. Here's some recent wins. EVTL. This was a small company, only about a $5 stock. August 8th, ChargePoint, Square, Melco. I might have to start doing casinos again because they work out very well. August 15th, ENVX, 50%. Even AMC. Look at me trading AMC, 19%. Had some trades on August 22nd and the HOG, the Harley Davidson, to the downside. Maybe I should start trading the downside more. So the trade results have been fantastic. Here's how it works. You get a text, email, telegram Friday afternoon, 3 p.m. or this week we're trading live. and we give you all the instructions for the trade, full analysis. Then Monday, I send you a email, text, telegram at 9 a.m. with a pre-market game plan, 30 minutes before the opening bell. And then 30 minutes into the day, we look to close out the trades. So if you don't know how to trade options, I include an Option Pro crash course by yours truly, an accelerator class, about 16 hours of total education content, because obviously I'm very big in education. And obviously, please use proper risk management. We put together a special for the roundtable. Usually this costs $1,500 to get in, but today it's different, a deal, because I'm trading live Friday. Instead, it's only $129 a month. One payment of $129 a month, and you'll get 3 trade alerts Friday at 3 p.m. Again, it's a very good deal. If you want to check it out, give it a try. If it sucks, just knock me over the head and get your money back. But it's $129 a month. You get 3 trades at least every Friday, and then usually some bonus trades. So if you can, post a link in the chat or call the friendly customer support team at 877-212-2646. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat.
And this is a great deal, folks. Lance is red hot. Get in on this now. This is a great deal at $129 a month. And we're doing this because a lot of people are sending me emails saying, Roger, can you get Lance on a monthly? We want to try out Lance. Can you give us Lance on a monthly? This allows you to get in on Lance's team on a monthly basis, try it out, see how you like it, see if it's for you. I mean, look, I'm not for everybody. Lance is not for everybody. That's just how it works. But try it out. You guys are going to love it. I'm telling you. And if not, you spend $129. What's the big deal? I mean, a sushi for 2 is $129 these days.
Sushi for Lance is $129 for lunch. Especially
I don't know where you go for sushi, but is it really?
It's only high end.
Yeah, usually. I mean, so I'll usually spend about $50-$60 on sushi.
Yeah,
about a $40 bottle of sake. Throw in tip.
There you go. There you go.
$150 lunch. So check it out.
It's the booze.
It's the
if
booze.
You can. I will say, for full transparency, is there a link here or is it just in the chat? I don't see a link anywhere.
There's a link in the chat. We keep posting it, so it's there. It's in the chat, and I'll repost it again for you.
Okay.
But it's there.
Okay, good. Yeah. So full transparency, very short term. We look to get in Friday, out on Monday. We're not buying expensive options. We're not looking to hold, for months or anything. Usually, if you know my trading style, like if you do any blitz, we did PayPal and Netflix this week, very short term. I mean, literally the least amount of time I could be in the market, the better. And you know, why is that? You may be asking. Well, let me show you. If you pull up a chart, this is the NASDAQ futures. You pull up a chart, look how messy the market has been. Pretty much any stock chart, you do the SPY, whatever it may be. Look how messy the market has been. Here's where we opened. Here's where we opened. Here's where we are right now. It has been very difficult swing trading positions. Trust me, I know, because I've lost money on swing trading. But day trading, where you can catch opportunities, and then the weekend wiretaps, where we're literally in the markets for like an hour 30 most of the time. It has been a lifesaver really this year. Not every weekend will be a winner. This weekend, I will admit, it was rough. I did not expect a big gap down Monday, but we do have a fantastic track record. I always say every time you fall off the horse or fall off the saddle, get back on the horse. So you can see we have a pretty good track record, 131 wins, 50 losers. I try my best to put the best trades on. If they don't work out, I don't like it either, because I lose money too. But if you can sign up, do it. If not, no worries. And also too, Friday, 3 p.m., I will be trading live. So if you are a member, thank you. You'll get the invite. If you do sign up now, obviously you'll have the invite in the members area so you can trade live. And I screen share, talk about risk management and all that. Whew, I'm exhausted.
Great job, Lance.
I was doing videos before this, so I'm all
all hot.
He's worked up. He's worked up and dehydrated from that sake lunch he had yesterday.
A whole bottle of Pellegrino gone in like an hour. But yeah, if you can, there's a number in the chat, 877-212-2646. It will be 3 p.m. On Friday, Rochelle.
Beautiful.
We send all the trade alerts at 3 p.m. each Friday. And when I go live, we actually will put the trades on together. So I'll actually put each trade on, 3 trades at least on with you guys and girls. And then you guys can laugh how you, some people even day trade them on Friday afternoons when we go live. So it's always a good time. Lots of entertainment.
This service is very popular. I always
Yes.
hear a lot of really positive feedback about this. People
great-
really enjoy.
Great service. And again, the truth of the matter is it's $129. The odds are with Lance, you will do well. I mean, there's no crystal. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball. Even mine misfires all the time. You know, it's made in China. But seriously, this is a great deal. This is an awesome opportunity. SHY guys. Yeah. Ticker symbols SHY. Sorry. I did post it in the chat for that 2-year that I promised you. That way you don't have to look at 2-year, but forget about that. Focus on Lance. He will treat you the right way. And what I love about these Friday trades, you don't have to sit there and fixate on them over the weekend. Make a little money while you have peace of mind. You know, Chuck and I went live yesterday and we were talking, and the day before yesterday we were rehearsing, and it was on a Sunday, and we looked at each other. We're like, isn't it nice? The markets are closed. We actually have a peace of mind. So it's really, really, really important and great to have that peace of mind. Markets are closed. You can't do anything. And that's it. You put it on Friday. You worry for about an hour. Market closes. Then you don't have to worry about it. And you take your profit on Monday, or you get out on Monday. It's a great way to trade. Lance, let me ask you a couple of questions to clarify a few concerns. What's the average price of the option?
Usually around $1.50, I would say. Sometimes we'll do like a $2 or $3 option, but I usually try to do very inexpensive options, anywhere from like 50 cents to $1.50. They are usually very short-term options, so obviously very sensitive options.
Yeah, and they're liquid because they're short-term and you're only holding for a few days. And you guys, you're getting the leave it or love it guarantee. That's a great contract. Don't miss out on this. It's a great opportunity. Now, I want to show you guys something. I'm going to take over my screen. The chat, the link is still in the chat, but I want to show you guys why this is such a compelling service. Let me show you from my perspective. So this is something you guys need to pay attention to. Very important here. Let me just post this here. So this is bar chart. Take a look at something, guys. These are the kind of stocks, just so you see, these are the kind of stocks here that Lance focuses on. And this is kind of eye-opening for everybody here. And this will give you a good reason why you need to buy and get into Lance's service. If I can find that scan here, I'll be a very happy camper. Let me just find it. I want to show you the difference. Here it is. So here is the S&P 500. And you could see here on the S&P 500, look at what the top stocks over 6 months, look at their top gainers. 80%, 60%, 60%, right? 30%. These are the top stocks in the S&P. Now, look at the kind of stocks that Lance focuses on. 1,943%, 700, 300. Look at the top stocks. You see the gains are about 5-6 times higher. So you have a lot more opportunity between Friday and Monday to make a lot more money. Because again, look at the opportunity factor. Look at S&P over 6 months. Look at these gains. 80 to 35. Now look at the Russell 2000. And I'm the point here I'm making is that smaller stocks tend to move more and faster, and Lance focuses on those stocks. Am I saying anything here, Lance, that's out of character, proportion?
No, not at all. I tried to, I like the fast moving, high flying stocks. I'm not a big fan of the boring names out there. Basically, like you said, I want high beta names that can move at a greater percentage compared to like trading the SPY and stuff like that.
So look, folks, look, we were saying like 80 to like 30, 1900 to 134. And this is just a very small example of what I'm talking about. But if the opportunity for upside is so much stronger and you're only holding stocks for a couple of days, that means you have a much stronger upside potential in that short period of time. Not selling Codebreaker here, but that's the logic behind Codebreaker, that smaller stocks have bigger moves versus bigger stocks and patterns. Same thing with what Lance does. It just happens to be that Lance's specialty is these smaller type of stocks with higher beta higher moves. And he picks stocks that have very, very tight option spreads. I know that because we talked about it. He actually showed me some of his scanner things where what's the bid and offer you look for between the bid and the offer on the
if it's a
generally
low
speaking?
price stock, I usually like penny wide, nickel wide. I usually don't go more than 10 or 20 cents wide unless it's like, a $300 stock or something. But usually, very, very, very liquid options, because also too, we're following a wire order that's usually 1,000 contracts plus. So there's 1,000 contracts plus just on the line trading. The market makers are, they're someone buying 1,000 lot or 2,000 lot or 5,000 lot is not going to trade a illiquid option.
Good. And look at this feedback you're getting from people like Sherry. Lance, trading with Lance is a real great experience. It's fast moving.
Thank you.
Really breathtaking sometimes, but the profits are really good. I love this service. You see, guys, why I'm so happy? Sherry loves this service. Check it out, folks. It's a great, great service. You're getting an amazing deal. And the best part, you get to try it out. And here, I'm going to post the link for you again. Try the service out. You guys are going to love it, love it, love it. Shauna says, best service I've ever been part of. Crazy what can happen from Friday to Monday. Love you, Lance. There you go.
And a kiss.
Thank
You
you.
got
And
a
a
kiss
kiss,
too.
I have, thank you, Sean and Sherry. I have, and Rochelle put Elf Beauty, by the way. I have one lady, I don't know if you're in the chat, I hope so, who always posts we'll put rated R comments. But every time I see one, it's one of my favorite comments out there. I think, what is it? Is it Candace? I'm not sure if you're in the chat or someone can tell me, but I can't have favorites, but you're one of them.
Well, it isn't
great.
just the ladies. John said
The
he's a
ladies love
fan.
Lance. What are you going to do?
Right. John said
Yeah, I don't get
he's a fan
anybody.
of Wiretap.
I don't get anybody sending me anything with lipstick. Nothing. I
can't. I like. All right.
Just stop talking, Lance.
Yeah.
You're gonna get yourself in trouble. Well, you're not married. You can talk. It's all good.
Yeah, but I will see you all Friday, 3 p.m. trading live. It's good to finally get some strokes in trading live, because we've had Fridays off or half days with Thanksgiving last week. So good, or the week prior, pardon me. But thank you all, everyone. Thank you, Laura, Roger, Garrett, Jeff, Fran, and I just realized I'm not screen sharing anymore. So
No, it's all good. And Garrett and Garrett, thank you guys. And I apologize for being late today. I had severe internet issues that I had to overcome.
No problem. Garrett jumped in at the last minute to hook us up.
Thank you. Garrett saved the day.
It was good to have the whole crew in house. That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much, and thank you everyone for joining us today.
Bye,
See
guys.
you next week.
Thanks,
11
Laura.
o'clock
Thanks,
next
Lance.
Wednesday.
Thanks, Francisco. Thanks, Garrett. Bye, guys.
Cheers. all.
Bye. I'm going to leave this room open for a couple seconds here. So if you haven't clicked on the link, go ahead and do that now, so you can open up the website and you can see everything you get.
Smart. Peace
Thank
out.
you.
Bye, Laura. Bye, everyone. And if you're already a Wiretap member, don't worry, you're going to be getting an email and it'll get posted in the members area for the live event on Friday. So that's going to be at 3 p.m. You'll get an email about it and an SMS. Yes, there's definitely yearly and lifetime options for Wiretap. If you're interested in that, go ahead and call the number. I think if you call and ask for the lifetime, you might be able to get a deal. Let them know you came from Roundtable and you were looking at the monthly offer. All right, bye everyone. See you next week. Take care.